Oh my gosh.
Oh dear.
I was in FaceTime the other day and I accidentally clicked the desktop thing and it immediately had a down shot of my cleavage. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm just on a call with my partner. It would not be good if that happened in a business meeting.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny. Welcome to the MenoPosse show, where we're talking about change for the better. And when we say change, we mean that change, the one that comes with perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. The ups, the downs, the all-arounds. We're just real women talking about the real things that we're dealing with. I'm Carrie, and I'm in menopause.
I'm Danielle, and I'm about 5 months into menopause.
I'm Chrissy, and I'm postmenopausal.
And together we are your
Menopausal.
And today
we're a little bit, I was going to say, and also our cholesterol is a little too high posse as well.
We need to lower our cholesterol posse.
Yeah, we need to lower our cholesterol posse.
This posse has a lot of things that need to happen. Oh, well, we have an extra posse member on today, our sweet friend and all-around badass human, Kay Hesketh. Welcome to the MenoPosse. Hey.
Hi, ladies. Thanks.
So glad to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, before we dive in, I have to give the disclaimer. Sometimes we cuss if the mood calls for it, and we also call body parts by their real name. So if the word clitoris scares you, proceed with caution. And if you can't find it, get in line, because a lot of dudes can't. But anyways, that's not what this show is about. Sorry. And just a reminder that we're real women just sharing our stories. We're not doctors, so don't take anything we say as medical advice. We're just sharing our experiences along with some research we found along the way. Your mileage may totally vary, so talk to your doctor. All right, with the preamble out of the way, let's move
Also, if you can't find your clitoris, go back to episode 13.
Yes, Nurse Christine reveals many nuggets of wisdom, including a map to that.
Yes, and a detailed explanation of the 3 holes.
Yep.
The 3 little soldiers. Danielle, how's your ongoing journey to feel better?
Oh, yeah. Update on the health saga. Well, this is really interesting because I had posted on TikTok the clip from last week's episode about how I had stopped drinking and how I stopped caffeine and how I've cut down on all my sugar and to see if that was going to help my health, and then also doing clean eating. And it turns out somebody made a comment on that clip that said, maybe you should try excluding wheat. And this is really interesting. So last week we had 2 out-of-town guests, and one of those guests is on a very special diet. And she can't eat any wheat. She's not celiac, but she can't eat wheat because she doesn't process it very well, and a bunch of other things. So I started cooking for her, for everybody, stuff that she could eat. And it turns out that I wasn't eating any bread or any gluten because she couldn't, and had a pretty good week. So I'm wondering if there might be something there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like headaches and shopping mall experiences, like that kind of thing. And if you have to listen to our episode to know what that means. Okay, I don't like to say the word diarrhea, so I just say shopping as opposed to saying diarrhea because I don't like that word.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to stick with it and see what happens. The doctor said I needed to cut down on eating bread anyways, and if it'll help with my cholesterol and I will feel better, might as well cut out bread.
Yeah. If you need any product recs, let me know. If you need replacements for pasta and stuff like that, let me know. I have some good ones.
Oh, great. Yeah, absolutely. And the good news to that is I can have 2 glasses of wine now without having any problems.
Huh.
Oh, it really might have been your body saying no thank you to the wheat.
I know. Isn't that, and I never thought of it. I never put 2 and 2 together. I never thought it would be something with wheat. I'd cut out everything else, but I didn't cut out bread.
All right.
Yeah. Funny.
Okay, if that's the magic bullet, you're going to have to send your friend a big thank you note for getting you on a off wheat for a few days.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm celiac at all, but if I can balance out my system a little bit, why not? Why not cut it out, right?
Yeah, I'm not celiac, but for a lot of people, wheat it's a trigger for it's an inflammatory trigger. And so that's why I try to avoid it, or just avoid gluten as much as possible. And for you can also, there's a couple of others like corn and soy for people can be inflammatory as well. It's not necessarily that you're allergic to it, but your immune system may be reactive to it, or you may be sensitive to it. So yeah, that'll be, I can't wait to find out the next time, like how much, if it continues.
Yeah. And maybe my cholesterol will go down too. So a win-win all around.
Yeah. This news is not menopause related, but I feel like with 3 out of 4 on this call being in Texas, we would be really remiss not to recognize the floods that happened in Central Texas in the early hours of July 4th, and just a really tragic loss of life. And the search efforts go on to that. So I don't want to be all like thoughts and prayers, because that sounds so thin, but it really is. Our hearts go out to those folks. Yeah. Okay. So do we have other news? Things to discuss?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm only going to mention it because we did talk about it last week, the Diddy trials. I don't know if y'all saw, but he went in, his lawyers got together in the courtroom yesterday, whatever that's called. I'm having a menopause moment right now. But they had a hearing, I guess, to find out if he could be sentenced earlier because he's in jail right now. And the judge was like, I'm not even going to hear arguments right now. The sentencing is not going to be until October 3rd or 7th or something like that. So Diddy's going to have to remain in jail until that time of sentencing. Wow. So depending on where you land on if you think he's guilty or not guilty, if you think he's guilty, that's good news. If you don't think he's guilty, then sorry.
If the baby oil fits.
Yeah. Gonna be in jail at least till October.
Our menopause moments, which is our way of saying we said something wrong, or just we had an actual menopause moment where you forget words and things like that. They happen all the time on the show, Kay.
I understand.
Do we have any menopause moments? You're in good company, girl.
I'm glad.
I do. I have a clarification. In last week's episode, we were talking about our bad days, and I had said that I had said that I had lost 2 animals in the last 2 years, and because I don't have children, it was really hard on me. And I wanted to clarify that statement. I didn't mean that if you have children, the loss of your pet is not as hard. What I meant was I don't have children and I treat my animals like my babies. And so losing them, it was very hard on me. I'm not taking that away from anybody else. This is that's how I felt. So I just wanted to clarify that.
I totally didn't hear it that way when you said it.
I didn't either.
Okay. All right.
We're super excited to have you on today, Kay, and to hear your story and your journey with menopause and perimenopause. And you're part of the very illustrious 3% club that had perimenopause for over a decade. That is terrifying. Yes. So you win a special award for that. I'm not sure what the award is, but you've earned it and you deserve it. And maybe it's an extra finger of whiskey, a really good top shelf.
There you go. Yes.
I would take that for sure. Or a portable fan that just follows me everywhere I go.
One that sort of like perches on your shoulders or something. So it's just always pointed right at your face.
That would be awesome.
I feel like it might not look the coolest when you're out and about, but if as members of the We Do Not Care Club,
yes.
Do we care? No, we do not care. Yeah. Air is air. Okay, before we get into that, it is time for... You're up, Danielle.
The hoo-ha weather report.
All right, Danielle, how's it going in Georgia? You froze. Are you okay?
That is hilarious.
Okay, well, your internet connection is having a menopause moment.
I just lost power.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I don't know how to get back on here.
We can hear you.
There's a first time for everything.
There is. Now, if it's a storm-related power outage, how timely is that to be part of the hoo-ha weather report?
Add to stage. Okay, I'm back. Yes. So speaking of the hoo-ha weather report, we are in the middle of a thunderstorm right now, and we had just lost power for a minute.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Do y'all have generators and all that jazz?
We have a battery backup. So it just went out and came back on. So that's why I was able to get back on right away.
Okay, show must go on.
Show must go on. Yes. So in Georgia, it's very hot and we're having thunderstorms every single day. Nothing like Texas, but very tropical. Yeah.
Kay, how are things in Houston?
Yeah, today actually was milder than before. Like it's been in the lower 80s, which is nice for July in Houston.
Yeah.
But my personal part of the weather report is that I just developed hot flashes in the last month. 11 years of doing this, I thought I had avoided the hot flashes at least, and I have not. And of course, they chose the hottest part of the year for Houston to show up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so a little fanning is a little necessary here and there.
Yes.
I'm
very sorry.
That's
Yes.
miserable.
Yeah. That is awful.
Yeah.
Chrissy, do you want to report for Dallas-Fort Worth?
Yeah, so today was, I think, in the low 90s, maybe low 90s. Last night we had a storm show up out of nowhere, and it was pretty gnarly. We were sitting watching TV, and we can see out through into our backyard from our living room. And just all of a sudden, the trees started like going to and fro crazy, and we looked at the weather thing, and it was all of a sudden there was a storm that was just popped up that's just like descending right onto Fort Worth. And so Carrie and I went outside. I love a good storm, and so Carrie and I
Sorry. Goodness gracious.
and so we watched it move around us and saw some lightning, and then about 15-20 minutes later it started raining. So luckily we don't ever get this much rain in June and July, and so I'm just thankful for every bit of it. And then last weekend, for the holiday weekend, we sat outside on the 4th of July. It was the 4th, right? Mm-hmm. With the neighbors. And it was so cool. Carrie had to put a sweatshirt on in the evenings. We were out, and it was just a little bit kind of drizzly, and like it had cooled down so much that she literally wore a sweatshirt. I don't think that's ever happened on the 4th of July in Texas.
No.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the time it's hot and humid, but we've had these little pockets of where it just cools off a little bit, and it's been really nice. So no, knock on wood, no 100-degree days. Yeah. Great.
Well, for those of you listening, I hope wherever you are in the world, if it's hot, you have air conditioning or at least a personal fan.
Right.
Oh, let's get going. I'm anxious to hear your story, Kay. So shall I introduce you?
Sure.
Okay. I'm trying to remember how long I've known you. I'm going to ballpark a decade.
It's been longer than that.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, because my intro story is from 11 years ago, and I knew you before that. So it's probably been closer to 12, 13, maybe even closer to 15 years.
Oh, okay. So I've known you for pre-perimenopause and the whole kit and caboodle. Right now, you are the operations manager at Red Apple Beauty, which is an online beauty company that specializes in clean makeup for people with sensitive skin and allergies. Very cool. Mm-hmm. And we were talking before the show began that this beautiful room you're sitting in, your reading room, is the first space you have had for yourself and probably largely due to the fact that you homeschooled your 3 kids who are now 18, 20, and 22, all the way from kindergarten through high school. So well done, you. And also congratulations on your space.
Thank you.
So 2 of your kids are in college, and one just graduated with his Associates of Arts in Music. So congrats to him.
Yes.
And before the kids came along, you were a director of a nonprofit art contest for high school students in the greater Houston area. You've taught 8th grade earth science for multiple years, and maybe the most impressive achievement, next week you celebrate 30 years of marriage. So
I do.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Tell us the secrets of your success.
Yes.
We've talked about this a lot over the years. I think there's an equal part of, there's some luck involved, but I think there's also just a lot of work. Like you have to communicate about everything, even when you don't want to. So yeah, it's mainly about communicating a lot. And then when we were younger, I would say, get the sex right and everything else will follow. And I still believe that, because sex and intimacy they're the same thing in my mind. So when you get that amount of intimacy and communication right, then it just flows into the rest of your relationship.
Well,
that's my little nugget.
Right. Solid advice. We have talked enough about you. Let's actually hear from you. If you want to start by kind of sharing your journey with perimenopause and menopause, and we can go where the conversation takes us, or if there's certain things you want to share, but we'd love to hear your story.
Oh, thanks. So my story starts 11 years ago, and Sean and I were going on a trip to the Indy 500, which is a bucket list kind of trip for us, big motorsports fans in this house. And it was our first time to go, and we were super excited. And the whole time I was getting ready for the trip, I was a little bit nervous, and I get a little bit of travel anxiety anyway, even before all of this started. So I knew I was going to be nervous flying and all that, but I was fine. And we got there, and it's the day of the race. And we had to get up to go meet the driver down at the bottom of our hotel. And I'm like, I was so nauseous that I was like, I can't leave this hotel room. There's no way I can sit in traffic and then go sit at a race for 3-4 hours and be able to deal with this. I was so nauseous. And I kept telling Sean, I'm like, there's something weird. He's like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't know. It feels hormonal in the sense that it feels like I would feel when I got nauseous when I was pregnant with all 3 of the kids. And I'm like, it's a different nausea. I don't know how else to explain it except that. And that's how it felt to me in my body. He's, oh my God, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant, but that's what it feels like. So he was like, all right, if you think it's just hormones, then can you just try to go? Because I don't want you to miss like this bucket list event. So I got in the car, I went. By the time I got there and I had settled down, I was fine. I was fine the rest of the day. I was fine the rest of the weekend. No other issues. And I'm like, what in the world is that? That was just weird. So I started thinking back over the last months leading up to that. And I had several things where I had either, like I was at my best friend's birthday party and I wound up leaving because I felt so nauseous. And then when I got home, I was fine. And I was like, that's weird. What is that about? I woke up on my son when he was turning 10. So this is 10 years ago. And I couldn't stop crying. Like I could not stop crying. And I'm not a crier. I'm a very dry, kind of logical, cool, calm, and collected kind of person. And when I could not turn off the waterworks, I went into Sean's office and I'm like, I can't stop crying. And he's, what are you crying about? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm crying about, but I can't stop. And there's part of my brain, like the observer part of your brain that's going, what the fuck is wrong with you, woman? This is not you. And so I had that experience. And then I was taking the kids on a field trip down to the George Observatory in Brazos State Park. And it's an hour and a half from our house. And I knew I was going to have to leave during rush hour. And we only have one car at the time. And so all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the night before, I started having all of these weird thoughts that I had never done before, where I'm like, oh my gosh, what if there's a wreck on the way and then we're late? And then what if I'm in a wreck and there's only one car? And then how is Sean going to come help us? And then, okay, what if we get there and we're on time and that's fine, but then there's alligators on the property? What if there's an alligator in the path? And then, oh my God, what if one of the alligators tries to eat my kid? What if one of the alligators tries to eat all three of my kids? It was like, it just started like blossoming and getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, what is happening in my brain right now? Like, we all have weird thoughts like that. And I was always able to just dismiss them and be like, oh, that's silly. If we're late and they'll let us in the class or they won't let us in the class and it'll be fine. If there's a wreck on the way, there's a wreck on the way. We'll figure it out. That's generally how my brain was working up until that moment. And I'm like, this is wacky. There's something going on. There's something wrong with my brain. There's something totally crazy going on. And it wasn't until after the Indy 500 incident when I'm starting to connect all of those dots together and go, oh, okay, that hormonal feeling was that maybe cortisol, like I have too much cortisol running in my body. And then when I started looking at cortisol, it was linked to perimenopause. And I'm like, I am 41, so maybe that's what's going on. So I went and talked to my primary caregiver, and I was like, hey, here's my symptoms. Here's what's going on. And she's, yeah, I don't even have to do any blood tests. This is perimenopause. It's what you've got going on based on your symptoms. So she told me to get this progesterone cream, use it every day. And that should help mitigate some of these more like spiky kind of things that are happening. And sure enough, once I'd been on the progesterone cream for a while, everything smoothed out. I stayed on it for, a couple of years maybe, and then weaned off of it over time. And then I seemed to be fine. Like I would still have spikes of anxiety, but at that point I knew what it was. And so you get anxiety about anxiety. So when you know what it is and you know what's causing it, then you're able to go, oh, okay, this is what's happening. It's totally fine. Just take a breath. It'll relax over time, or have a whiskey, do what you need to mitigate the anxiety, and it'll be fine. But for me, it was the whole knowledge is power. Once I figured out what was going on, I started reading more about it. I talked to my mom. She cracks me up. I'm like, okay, Mom, when did you go into menopause? And she's, I don't remember. I think it was like maybe 45. And I'm like, that's on the young side, Mom, but okay, sure. I'm like, did you have any symptoms? She's, I don't really remember having a whole lot of symptoms. No. And I'm like, now I'm thinking back and I'm like, I was a teenager when she was going through that. I know she was having some mood swings. Like that was definitely happening. If nothing else, that was happening.
Yeah. So
the problem with that piece of information is then I set myself up for failure because I was like, oh, Mom went into menopause at 45. I got a few years. I got to deal with this. I'm 41. It'll pass in the next 5 years, maybe. Even if I go on the long side, it'll be upper 40s. We'll be totally fine. And here I am at 52. And I'm still dealing with all of this. And I've had consistent periods up until I was 50. Was the first time I actually skipped a singular period. Like up until then, it was clockwork.
Yeah.
Like, how do I have all these symptoms, but my period is like so on like clocks? Like it was so wild.
That is wild.
I know. So yeah. So I think over the course of the 11 years, I think they say there's 34 symptoms related to menopause. I think I've had now with hot flashes, I'm pretty sure I'm up to 34. Here we go.
Yeah.
So,
I love that your doctor immediately honed in on what was going on and didn't dismiss you or didn't send you to another doctor, or just, I love that she was just like right there with you, listening to you and clued in. That's awesome. That's so rare.
That is very rare.
Yeah. So she's actually the midwife that delivered all three of my kids. Yeah. So she was amazing because I walked in, I'm like, okay, do you need to do blood work or anything? And she's, girl, your hormones change from moment to moment. Your blood work isn't going to tell us enough about what's going on, especially this early in perimenopause. Unless it's like really drastic, it's not going to, she's like, I can tell by your symptoms. That's what's happening. So progesterone cream for you. And I'm like, okay, yes, ma'am. And it worked.
Wow. Oh, go ahead.
You're not still on the progesterone.
No, I weaned off of it because I felt like I was doing okay. And it hasn't been until like the last year that I've had significant enough symptoms again that I'm like, all right, now it's time to go talk to a doctor about HRT and get something going. So that's on my to-do list now.
When you started symptoms, were you still on birth control?
No, I haven't been on birth control since before my kids were born.
Okay. So there was no like other hormonal intervention happening.
No.
God bless, Kay. You deserve, once you hit menopause, you deserve no symptoms ever again.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping.
I don't know if it works that way, but you deserve it. So did you connect, like the day that y'all went to the Indy 500, did you connect the anxiety to the stomach ache, or were those kind of two separate things?
No, because until that point in my life, I had never had anxiety. Like you get nervous before an exam or before a big event or whatever, but I had never had what is truly anxiety that's diagnosable as anxiety, like where it's thoughts that are out of control, that are random and weird, that you can't just dismiss, that then build on each other. Like all of that, I had never experienced in my life. And so that was part of what drove me to go, okay, there's something wrong here, because this is not how my brain usually works. And it wasn't until after I started like digging into more about perimenopause and all that I realized, oh, I bet that my stomach issues are actually related to being anxious and having anxious thoughts. And so I started to figure out, not only with the progesterone cream, but also I started figuring out for myself, what are the things that I need that help me to settle myself down. And so one of my things that I have to have whenever I go anywhere outside of my house is an exit plan. So there's lots of times that Sean and I will be going to the same event, and I'll know that he probably is going to want to stay longer than me. So we'll take two cars just so that I have an exit plan and I can scoot if I want to or I need to. But once I started realizing that about myself and going, okay, if I have an exit plan, then my anxiety dwindles and I get a little more calm and I don't have to worry about it as much, then that helps me to stay present and not have to leave.
That's a great management tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah. And that's worked great for me. Just knowing. So that was part of the Indy 500 thing, is there was no exit plan. Because I was going with a big group. Actually, I was with Danielle's husband, who was not her husband at the time, but it was a big group of guys from work that Sean knew from work, and Kareem was one of them. And I'm like, it's a big group of people. I don't get to control when we leave this venue. So that was part of what I realized later was part of the anxiety, was just, I didn't have control over that. I had to be there for however long that everybody was going to be there. Or do something extraordinary and have to call my own Uber or something like that, which is totally possible. But in the moment, you don't think about that, of course.
So the topical progesterone, like that helped with the anxiety along with the other symptoms?
Yeah, for sure. And at the same time, I was also having insomnia, which I had never had. I've never had problems sleeping up until then. I was a great sleeper. And then Perry came knocking and I'm like, oh, wait, what is this? Why am I awake at 3:00 in the morning? Thinking about, again, anxious thoughts, but not realizing that's what it was. I just knew my brain was just running nonstop.
Yeah. And then if you're not sleeping well, then that feeds into the anxiety during the day. And vicious cycle.
Yeah. Right. So my key with the insomnia was I finally got to a point, because it would make me so anxious that I'd be like counting the hours. Now I only have 4 hours to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
I only have 3 hours to sleep, which I know you've all dealt with. And I finally got to a point where I'm like, and then what? What if you get no sleep? I still get up. I still do my day.
Yeah.
If I get a nap, that'd be great, but maybe not. And then at the end of the day, I'll be really tired. I'll be grumpy all day, but nobody's going to die. It's not insurmountable. It's okay if I don't have any sleep tonight. It'll suck, but it'll be okay. And so again, once I was able to talk through all that in my own head and be like, all right, even if I only get 3 hours of sleep, that's better than no hours of sleep. So
was that with the progesterone that you were able to talk yourself through it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. Some of the research that we were doing before we got on with UK, which is looking at anxiety as a symptom for perimenopause and menopause. And it's just to read a couple of symptoms for our audience, for the rest of the posse. Anxiety symptoms can include a fast heart rate, heart palpitations, the feeling of sickness and nausea, which sounds like what you had, shaking or tremors, sweating, dry mouth, chest pain, headaches, fast breathing, and panic attacks. And panic attacks that are severe enough that will cause anxiety and panic and fear because they just show up and you're not sure why they're there. And so I was wondering, when you were having the nauseous feeling, did you have any other physical symptoms that would attribute to that, or that were caused by the anxiety? Did you feel this like overwhelming sense of fear, or did you feel anything like that? Or
that would rarely, yes, but that was pretty rare. It was mainly, my stomach has always been the first thing that reacts to anything in my life. So even back in high school, when I think now that I know more, that I was having hormonal issues in high school, because every morning when I woke up, I was nauseous. And I think it's because my cortisol level was so high because my hormones were wacky because I was a teenager. Of course, at the time, I didn't know that. I just knew I was nauseous every morning when I got up to go to school. And that really sucked.
yeah.
But again, that's how on the Indy 500 day, I was able to go, this is the same feeling I had back then and when I was pregnant. And it's not like I ate something bad or something like that. So my main symptom was the nausea. Since then, I do get like the racing heart. I get heart palpitations on occasion. Yeah, those are the main ones that show up for me anyway.
Yeah. Have you ever had a panic attack, or do you feel like that's what your panic attacks were in a way?
Oh, interesting. I've never thought of it that way. No, I don't think I would even classify that as a panic attack necessarily. Like the Indy 500 may be like skirting the perimeter of that, but no, Sean has had a couple of panic attacks. And so I know firsthand what those look like. And I don't feel like I've really had one of those before. Thank God, because they're no fun and very scary for everyone involved. But yeah, so for me, it was just mainly the nausea. So.
Yeah. You had 3 babies. How were your pregnancies? Were they pretty straightforward pregnancies, or were there any complications, or was there anything that you felt maybe was related to your hormones with the being pregnant and with the births of the babies?
Yeah. So for the most part, they were fine. I did have morning sickness, which was not morning sickness. It was morning, noon, and night, and all day long and 24/7 sickness for at least the first 3 months, if not 4 months. And by the time I got to the 3rd kid, I had to have some medication to help me out with the nausea because it was debilitating. I was in the bathroom all the time.
Wait, isn't that just hormones then? That's causing that? Oh, yeah. So you just had hormones. Woo!
All over the place.
Yeah. You are an overachiever.
Yes, I am. Thank you for noticing. That's so lovely.
You excel.
Yeah, so that was the main thing. And then I also had gestational diabetes with all 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was super fun too, because then you get about the time the nausea was starting to wane, you do the test for gestational diabetes and turns up I had it. And so then you had to cut all your carbs. So right about the time that you were ready to start eating again and good about eating, all the carbs and sugar got taken away. And I was like, that's really rude.
Yeah.
I'm finally ready to eat. And you're telling me that I have to limit what I eat. That's really rude. I don't like this.
Oh, no. Yeah. Not fun.
No. Yeah. But other than that, no, they were all fine.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. One of the things that we were talking about early in one of our earlier episodes was if for women that started their periods younger in life, they usually start perimenopause or menopause earlier in life as well. Mm-hmm. And there was also some correlation between women that have children and how many children they have, because since we have a finite amount of eggs, that you're not You're not getting rid of them while you're pregnant. And so you can start menopause a little bit later in life because you haven't quite run out of eggs yet because you've been pregnant for 3 years or however many babies you have. Yeah. But you seem different because since you've been having hormonal problems since you started your period when you were a teenager. So that's interesting.
Yeah. They've been all over the map the whole time.
All over the map.
I want to know how I made it to age. I think I was probably 46 years old when a friend told me that we had a finite number of eggs. And I was like, bullshit, you ain't no doctor. And then I was like, oh my gosh, was the teaching I received so subpar, or not even subpar, but compartmentalized and not thorough?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, not trying to turn the spotlight.
No, but if
on
you
me,
want to know what'll really blow your mind, all of those eggs that are inside of you were inside you when you were in your mother's womb. So the finite number of eggs that you have were in your mother's womb too.
That's incredible.
They must be so
really
very
incredible.
It's crazy.
Tiny, unlike our menopause symptoms.
Yes.
Exactly.
So has anxiety been the biggest one, or the most, I guess, the one that's impacted your just daily well-being and ability to go live your life?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the anxiety / nausea is what drove me to go see my midwife in the first place. Because I tend to be a pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of gal. You got a headache, take some Advil, let's keep going. Like you got itchy ears, so what? Itch your ears while you're walking. We got stuff to do. So yeah, the anxiety coupled with the nausea definitely has been the most debilitating part. And then I would say secondly, it's the insomnia. Luckily, I've had spells where it's not as bad. And I've been able to sleep, and I'm so grateful for those times. But just recently, again, I think my hormones have plummeted again in the last 6 months to a year. And so I've had more insomnia. I've had more anxiety. I've had now the hot flashes. I've had the itchy ears. I've had the burning mouth syndrome. Like,
oh, no, really?
All of it.
You're the first one.
Yes.
You're the first one we talked
Not in the history of the world, just on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's in keeping with my overachieving, that I have. So many of
Kay
them.
Hesketh, the first woman known to have burning mouth syndrome.
She's a medical phenomenon.
Oh gosh, please no. I don't need to do that.
You seem like you're really in tune with your body.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think you have to be, right? To be able to navigate it in a way that it doesn't impact your life in a debilitating, you know what I'm saying? If you're staying on top of it, then it's more manageable to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always astounded in my clinical practice when I ask patients about, why are you taking this medication? What is this medication for? I don't know. My doctor just told me to take it.
Oh, no.
Okay. Did you know you had this broken tooth up there? No.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Didn't feel that with your tongue. I'm always just astounded by people who don't pay attention to what's going on. And not that every minute of every day you're paying attention, but know thyself, right? Yeah. That way you know when something is wrong or something is off.
Right.
It's just,
I will say, though, with menopause, we do feel a lot of things that we can't find the answers to. Where all these things are happening, and it's like, what is wrong with me? And then it just turns out it's really just hormonal, or how your body is dealing with the low estrogen or the high cortisol levels or whatever. But for sure. I've got this mystery rash on my leg right now. I'm trying to figure out if it's menopause related or not.
Blame it on menopause.
Yeah. Anytime I'm talking to any woman who's in their 30s or 40s and they're like, I have this weird thing. And I'm like, could it be perimenopause? It's totally possible. Have you talked to your doctor? Have you done any research? It's totally possible that it's related to your hormones. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? I was just at the hairdresser yesterday and I mentioned something about perimenopause and I don't even remember how it came up. But I said, like all the weird symptoms, like the itchy ears. And she's, wait, stop. Itchy ears? And I'm like, yeah, weird, right? And she's like, why? And I'm like, girl, I don't know. I just know that when your estrogen drops, everything goes wonky. And she's, that's a weird one. I've never heard that before. I'm like,
well, we learned it's dryness everywhere.
oh, there you go. That makes sense.
In our ears, it's dry ears, it's dry skin, dry eyes, and dry vaginas.
The lovely trifecta that is.
Yes.
Oh, I love that you are now an evangelist to educate others on their potential. Because the whole reason the show was born out of, people aren't talking about this enough. And we're starting to see more conversations happen online, and influencers like Just Melanie on Instagram, who we love. It's great to hear more people talking about it, but it's still not quite normalized. So that's wonderful that your hairdresser or it's like on her radar.
On the radar.
Something weird is going on and she's of an age, then maybe she'll connect that dot sooner than she would have.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah.
So 2 of your 3 kids are young women.
Yeah.
So they've obviously seen, you're thinking back to when your mom, when you were living at home and you're like, oh, you had the mood swings. You may not remember your symptoms, but I do. So they've been in the house with you as you've had these symptoms. I'm curious, like how, like as a family dynamic, like if you're struggling, how are you talking about it with the kids? Are they recognizing and giving you some space? Is your husband like, okay, let's take a pause. What can I do? Like, how is that in your family dynamic? And then also, I guess the second part of that is how do you talk to your girls about future hormone stuff?
Yeah. So I think so far as the girls are concerned, and actually I don't leave my son out of these conversations because I feel like it's important for him. He's 50% of the earth is female. So he's going to encounter someone in his life that he cares about, even if it's just me and his sisters that are dealing with hormone related things. So from the time that they were old enough to really start talking about stuff like this, like talking about cycles and talking about hormones and all of that, we've just been very open about all of that and very pro education about that. So all 3 of my kids have read books about all of that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to talking, so there's already a precedent of talking about these kinds of things. So that's helpful. So when it comes to menopausal stuff, it's easy because I just like on a day that I'm having a bad day where my anxiety is spiked or I had insomnia, so I didn't sleep well, then I'm able to just say, hey, last night was a bad night. I didn't sleep well, insomnia. And they're like, okay. And they're able to give me some extra space, some extra grace for the day. And I think that's really cool. The funny thing is, funny and not funny at the same time, my 18-year-old is going through some health issues right now. And one of them is related to temperature dysregulation. So she's actually been having hot flashes.
Oh no.
And the last time she had one, I looked at her because I was having one at the same time. And I'm like, this is not how
it's not the way we want the bonding.
I'm so sorry. Like a teenage girl should not be experiencing hot flashes with her perimenopausal mom. That is just wrong on so many levels. And she's
poor
like,
baby.
I hate this. And I'm like, I feel you, girl. I do too.
Yeah.
So is that hormone related for her?
Probably. We don't know yet. We're still in the middle of doing a bunch of testing to figure out what she has so many different symptoms right now that we're just trying to figure out what is going on in her little body. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get those answers sooner rather than later.
Sounds like she might be an overachiever like her mama.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're sending all of our support, so hopefully it turns out all right.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And I love that you said that you include your son in these conversations too. It's not just with the girls. It's because you're right. He will, even if it is just you and his sisters, he's going to come across. We need more men in the world that have some empathy and
understanding. That's right.
Is their partners or their loved ones move through this. So that's
Well,
or even your employees or whatever. You're going to come, your friends, or you're going to come across this when you're older or younger too, depending. And yeah, it's good to be prepared and have some empathy. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and he shares a bathroom with his two sisters, so there was no avoiding the conversations. Like, we gotta talk about this because it's right there. It's happening. So yeah. And luckily he's a really cool guy. He's very even keeled. Nothing really rattles him. So it's pretty nice to be able to just look at him and go, dude, I'm PMSing today. And he's got it. Do you need some chocolate? What do you need, Mom? I got you. Thanks, bud. So he's really good about it. Yeah.
That's awesome. As evidenced by the walls of beautiful shelves of colorful books behind you, I know that you love to read.
What? How did you figure that out?
It hasn't been all the conversations we've had over books, late nights, and glasses of whiskey, or nothing like that.
No.
You said earlier in our conversation, like I think after the Indy 500 thing, you started doing some research and trying to connect the dots, and then also seeing your midwife. Mm-hmm. Do you have some resources that kind of stood out to you as being really helpful or informative or encouraging or what have you?
Yeah. So my first thing is anything that's talking about it and normalizing it and helping you to understand it better and talk about it gets props in my book. So the fact that you guys are doing this podcast is amazing to me because you're helping to normalize the conversation, which desperately needs to happen. And I think that for Gen Xers, we're like, why have we not been talking about this? This is ridiculous. And we're not going to suffer in silence. Hell no. We're going to talk to each other and we're going to figure out what the hell is going on and how we can fix it and make it better. So I love seeing resources like you guys that are popping up like left and right now, because this wasn't available 11 years ago. These things were not as talked about. It was much more, it wasn't as much, I don't feel like it's taboo. I just feel like it just wasn't talked about. People just didn't feel comfortable talking about it. So I guess maybe that is a little taboo. I don't know.
I found, I don't mean to interrupt you and I'm sorry, but I found that it's been very recent why we've been talking about perimenopause is because our obsession with staying young. So, and women having this, we're supposed to stay young, we're supposed to look young, we're not supposed to get older, that sort of thing. And there's always been, even in our generation, where you don't talk about it because then all of a sudden that's what grandma had menopause, not I'm 50 years old, but it's still cool menopause. You know what I mean? So I think that's why it's just now becoming a little bit more like we're able to talk about it a little bit more because one, after the pandemic, the global pandemic, people were home more and drinking more and our cortisol levels are really high. And now you're going through perimenopause and menopause and all the things that relate to that. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of women right now that are going through menopause and are like, what the hell is happening to me? Yeah. And so it probably helps with anxiety too, but it helps with some of the other symptoms, just being able to have camaraderie or community that you can talk to and bounce stuff off of, or even laugh. And that's the whole point of this podcast, is for us to have a good time and laugh about things that are hard that we're dealing with. So I think that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think I just keep coming back to, as Gen Xers, we're like, fuck it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to figure this out. Right. And we're still fucking cool. I don't care if we're having hot flashes, grandma. We're still fucking cool. So hang up your old ideas of what menopause looks like, because we are here to say.
That's right.
And as Gen Xers, we don't like to be dismissed or silenced.
Yes.
At all. Mm-hmm. We're very outspoken.
We're going to be loud and proud about it too.
Yeah. We're very outspoken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My aunt is a big reader, and she definitely early on in my journey was the biggest supporter that I had, because mom was so like, I don't know, maybe. And my aunt was like, no. Okay. So I was 50 and your aunt was 51 and this is what happened. And I'm like, thank you. And she's tried this book and that book. And have you seen this video? And she would just randomly send me things. And so she, out of everybody in my world, she normalized it for me to where it was like, no, this is what happens. And I'm like, okay, thank you. So early on in my journey, she recommended a book called The Mad Woman in the Volvo by Sandra Lowe. And it's just her memoir of going through the change.
Not the vulva.
Right. The Volvo.
Volvo. Okay.
Yes.
Just want to clarify that.
Yes, thank you. Let's overpronounce that so that we don't get people looking things up on Google that turn up other things.
Oh, yes.
Those things. I don't
A
know.
very different book.
Exactly. So in her book, it's just her memoir of everything that goes crazy and wonky, and she does it in a very funny way, but there's also some heartbreaking portions of it where you realize, oh, she's losing her marriage through all of this. And there's some difficult passages, but for the most part, she does it in a way that's super sarcastic and funny. And I don't know if you picked up on the sarcasm, but I really like sarcasm. So that was definitely in the right realm for me. And I think the best thing that came out of that was not just normalizing what was going on in my body, but also the idea that menopause or perimenopause is like a second puberty, and that at puberty you become a woman, but that at perimenopause you're able to use that as your ability to remake yourself into who you want to be. And it's the We Do Not Care Club. It's where you let go of the people pleasing a little bit, and you let go of, I don't care if I have to put a fan right here in front of my face, and I'm like, I don't care if you think that looks stupid. I'm hot and I need a fan. Like those kinds of things is the silver lining, if you will. It's the gold on the other side of the massive thunderstorm that is perimenopause and menopause. Is you get to a point in your life where you just are like, I'm going to be me, and this is who I am. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry, but that's okay with me. You don't have to like me. It's totally fine.
Yay! Because you don't have a bullshit meter anymore. We talk about this all the time.
Yes.
It's part of our glow up for having menopause. We don't have to do shit anymore.
Exactly. And you got to get something good out of it, right?
That's right. Yep.
Because we put up with so much stuff. So I would say that book was really transformative for me. Yep. I've also read several different books that go into the science of what's going on and the practical advice about what to do about the things that are going on in your body. Jen Gunter's book, The Menopause Manifesto, was one that I read and really enjoyed. I know there's several more that have come out just in the last couple of years that also deal with all of that. So yeah, those are the main things that really helped me on my journey. But honestly, I think it's having a community of people, or even just one person that you feel like you can talk to about these things, and they're not going to look at you like you're crazy, and they're not going to try to shut you down, but they're going to be like, no, that's totally legit. Like that weird, itchy electrical feeling you got on your skin today. Yeah. Perimenopause. It's okay. It'll wane. Don't worry about it. Just having someone that is there to just, to normalize it and to tell you, hey, it's okay. It's going to be okay.
And you're not alone. And to tell you you're not alone.
Yeah.
We're in this together.
Yeah. Every woman of a certain age is going through some portion of.
I always love it when you talk to somebody for the first time about it. Then there's a woman, like it comes up occasionally in my practice, and it just came up today. I had a patient, and she and I are about the same age, and at the end of her visit, we were talking about weightlifting or working out. She had just started weight training. She's like, it's so important at our age, and this is what I've learned. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, for hormones and blah, blah, blah. And we just made that menopause connection. And it's just, there's always just something, yes, that, okay, we're sisters in this. Like we're going through similarities. We're going to be going through similar things. And it's so fascinating to me. Like you can have nothing else in common with somebody, but if you've got that, man, you can talk for hours.
Yep. Yeah. It's true.
100%.
I love it.
That's going to bring this country together. This experience with menopause.
God knows all the menopausal women join hands.
That's right. We were all in this together.
Channel our menopausal rage into some
right.
Seriously,
Exactly.
we could get some shit done. Seriously.
We could. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kay, in the kind of pre-notes for the show, you shared a quote from your aunt that you said was really helpful to you. Do you have that handy?
I do, actually. Yeah. It's so funny because when I was looking up the book to remember exactly, because it's been 10 years since I've read The Mad Woman in the Volvo, I went to Goodreads and I pulled up her review of it. And this sentence stood out to me from her review of that book. And let's see if I can find it. She says, I really like the suggestion that the pains, psychological and physical, of perimenopause are really labor pains to our true selves, and a stage of life where we can be more focused on developing our lives and being who we want to be versus serving others, like our spouses, partners, community, church, school, children, and their expectations of who we should be.
Yeah.
Preach. Love that.
1,000%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh.
And your aunt sounds like a really smart and cool lady.
She is. She's the best.
Yeah.
Shout out to my Auntie Ellen.
All right.
Hey,
Welcome to the
Ellen.
house, Auntie Ellen. You're an honorary member.
We will drop all of those references that you just mentioned. We'll drop those in the show notes for this episode. So if you're listening to this and you don't have your pen and paper handy, you're in your car or whatever, you can just go to the menoposse.show, find episode 15, and it'll have these links in it. Thank you, Kate, for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I'm having an itchy ear issue right now.
Oh, no.
It's like,
That's great.
oh, sorry.
Oh,
Menopause moment.
And they're done that.
yes. Okay, anything else you would like to share, or territory we didn't cover, or a bit of wisdom for someone that's maybe at the start of their journey? Or
No, I think the main thing is to find your people. Find your people that are going to support you through all of this and help you figure out what's normal and be okay with that. I think finding your people is a big part of that. And I think that's just part of our aging journey too. As we're coming out of, for me, it's coming out of the child rearing years where so much of our energy is focused on our kids. And so much of my friendships are based around our kids and what they've done together. And so as I'm coming out of that stage and I'm looking around and I'm going, okay, do I still have friends in my world that are going to be here going forward too, right? Because my kids aren't involved in plays like they were, or soccer or whatever. Do I still have friends that are going to make that transition into middle age and then older age with me? And having that support group of women, especially in your life, I think is super duper important. So I think that would be my main thing too, in addition to everything else I've already said. So
solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Okay, let's move on into our next segment. And Kay, this is where we just get to bitch about anything we want to. It's called Fine Wine Time.
Yes.
I love it.
Fine wine time.
Who wants to kick it off?
I don't have one this time.
Oh, you're going to go first this time?
No, I said I don't have one this time. I actually don't have a wine this time. So I'll let somebody else go. I
Okay, by the
know.
time it comes back around, you'll
I
have
might think of something. Yeah.
probably.
I don't know why I always have a wine. I always have a list of complaints.
That's legit. Go with it, Danielle. It's totally fine.
I need to start writing mine down because I think about them all week and then we get to sit down here and then I'm like, oh no, everything's fine. Blah, blah.
My fine wine complaint tonight is, and I know we stay away from politics, but I don't believe that this should be political. But I am really upset about the Jeffrey Epstein list suddenly being disappeared and case closed. I think that is a hugely injustice to the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his circle of pedophiles and creeps. And I think that the government is not being transparent in regards to this. So that's my complaint. I'm very hurt by that. I feel it emotionally. I feel that it is a huge injustice
Yeah, I feel like there's a bipartisan covering up, because I think there are probably some pretty big names on both sides of the fence, and maybe even across the pond. And so I think there's definitely something going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't
It's
know.
just unfortunate, though, that there won't be it feels like there's not going to be a reckoning for this very, very bad criminal behavior.
Yeah. I agree with you. All right, I'll say that's my point.
You're going to add that on, yeah.
I'll piggyback on that.
That's a double complaint from the posse.
Okay, anything you want to just let loose on?
Considering the amount of doctors that we have been dealing with for my 18-year-old lately, I just want to whine about doctors' offices and their front staff, because getting people to call us back, getting people to answer our questions. If I'm sitting in the doctor's office, I love the doctor. The doctor is amazing. I have no problems with the doctor. But on the other end, when I'm trying to get the results from the test and I'm trying to find out when do I need to do the next appointment, that has just been like the bane of my existence the last 6 months to a year. And is part of the reason that I have not scheduled my own doctor's appointment to get on HRT and everything, because I'm like, all the spoons that I have for doctor appointments have been taken up with all of the nonsense that I've had to deal with. Not because of her, but not because of my daughter, but because of the nonsense from the front end staff that is just so frustrating. I'm like, guys, we came to see you in April and you still have not contacted us about the test we were supposed to do. Like, it's June. Why are we not? What has happened? Who dropped a ball? I
can't remember if we said it on this show or if it's just conversations with friends, but we have to be the CEO of our own healthcare. Yeah. And it can be like a full-time job, which is just maddening to get a phone call returned or to get a piece of information. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. And I'm sure it's even amplified because it's your kid and you want her to get better.
And I'm trying, she's 18. So some of them won't talk to me because she's 18. So she has to be on the phone at the same time, and then I can be there too. So part of it has been navigating that part of it, because I want her to be a fully functioning adult and be able to make her own appointments and make her own phone calls. They make it really hard because because the little bits of getting information across the way that it's supposed to never happen the same way. And it's always crazy. And it's anxiety inducing for her. And I'm like, oh my God, guys, come on. Like, she has enough going on in her body. We don't need to add to the stress with this stuff. So that's my whine for the day.
Solid wine.
Thanks. Overachiever, right?
I think mine is a fine wine update. So we had Nurse Christine on. I randomly came up with my fine wine of I get worse BO in my right pit than I do on my left pit. And she threw out, which I thought was really interesting, a theory of perhaps because I'm right arm dominant, maybe I'm like clamping that pit tighter during the day, something like that. But I have been more conscious since that to notice that when I sit at my desk and I'm like reading an email or something where my hands aren't on the keyboard and I'm sat back, I'm left arm squished, not my right arm. My right arm is flapping around. So that theory does not hold water. So it remains a mystery of why. I don't know. Yeah. So anyways.
What deodorant do you use?
Okay. So this,
I'm just curious.
I have two deodorants on rotation. One is a Dove, and it's deodorant is so expensive and it pisses me off. I don't want to pay $10 for aluminum free or something like that. So I'm probably going to die an early death because I'm using the cheaper deodorant. And it works okay. But the deodorant I really like is one I got in Bucharest last year. Yeah. That I bought because I think I'd forgotten deodorant or something. Yeah. And it's this roll-on, and I don't like roll-ons, but it's no scent. Yeah. And it's really great on sensitive skin. Yeah. And it seems to work very effectively, but I'm almost out of it. So I need to 911 to Bucharest. Send me some more deodorant.
Have you tried Looms? Lume?
Yeah, nope. Smells super funky on limbs.
Ah.
They have a lavender one now, so you don't have to, and there's one that doesn't have a scent also. I break out with any deodorant like really bad, and my lymph nodes swell up if I use like any other deodorant except Looms.
Huh.
That's the only one that I can use that doesn't cause me to get
wow.
rashes or swollen lymph nodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know I could stink and nobody's telling me, but I feel like it works pretty good.
Well, I tried like their cinnamon vanilla flavor, and I was like, I just smell like a cinnamon roll with BO.
Oh,
There's nothing
cinnamon
good about
vanilla
this.
under your pits?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
terrible. Nobody
so-
wants cinnamon under their pits.
Kay, here's an opportunity for a shameless plug. Does the company you work for have a sensitive skin deodorant?
They don't have a deodorant, unfortunately. No, they do mainly makeup. Yeah. So when you were talking earlier about sensitivities to gluten, that's actually what got them in the business to start with, was celiac specifically. But since then, of course, they've done all the research and know all the things that you can be allergic to or have sensitivities to, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
So that's where they came up with the idea for what they're doing. And yeah, they've been at it for 15 years.
Oh, I'm going to go there because I get the weirdest thing where I get rashes on my eyelids.
It's from your eyeshadow, and it's probably from talc in your eyeshadow.
Probably so many things, but I did try to find organic makeup or like vegan makeup. I don't even know, but like I was trying to find stuff that because I wear eyeliner, obviously I'm Gen X. So I wear eyeliner and mascara. So just trying to find something that's not going to irritate my eyes. So what is it called again? Because I will definitely go there.
It's Red Apple Lipstick.
Red Apple Lipstick. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they sell all different kinds. They
have eyeshadow and blush and all sorts of lipsticks and lip gloss and lip liners and eyeliners and mascara, all of those things. And they're all good for sensitive skin. And they have tons of colors. That's one of their big selling points is lots of clean companies or even companies that do like a clean line. They don't have a wide variety of colors, and Red Apple does.
That's perfect.
That's one of their claims to fame.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to check them out and report back.
We'll
I love it. Thank you.
We had one of our other friends, Rebecca Gill, on
Yes, I love
earlier
Rebecca.
episodes, and she got me on dryer balls, and it was the alpaca dryer balls. And I just want to report back that we bought 6 of them, and I use 3 of them every time I do laundry, and I absolutely love them.
Yay! I love that.
So I will report back on the lipstick.
Perfect.
Danielle, I want to encourage you to treat yourself. We use 6 alpaca balls every time we do a load of laundry.
You use 6?
Yeah.
We use all 6.
The more the merrier. It's like a party.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, they get stuck in like the sheet corner.
Oh, yeah, you got to do a head count every time a load is done.
Alpaca balls.
Counted for. All right, ladies, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you again, Kay, for coming on and sharing your story and hanging out. We are glad to have you as part of the posse.
Oh,
Yes.
thanks. I enjoy being part of the posse. Y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome anytime.
Anytime.
Yes. For those of you tuning in and listening, thank you very much for your support and just listening to the show. You can find us across Instagram and TikTok and a smattering of other social platforms at The MenoPosse Show, or you can visit our website at themenoposse.show, and that's where we'll have episode 15. You can find all the links for this episode. And wherever you listen to your podcast, if you would just hit that little star to rate it, and if you feel like saying a few kind words, you want to review it, that would be amazing. And we have a newsletter too, so every time we release an episode, you can get that, and it has all the links because we're all about sharing all the links. We are your MenoPosse, and we are so glad to meet up with you and talk about change for the better.
Together. And we're out.
All right.